If you have purchased our kit for customizing your blood, this video is going to show you how to turn our bright red into a dark red and also to turn the syrup into something a little bit more thick that you can use for a variety of special effects applications. So if you've purchased our kit, this is what's going to come in your package. You're going to open up your kit and you're going to grab out what's basically just food dye. We're saving you the trouble of going to the store and we're getting the food dye sent directly to you, and we're going to take out, just for ease, for later for thickening, is the xanthan gum. We're going to take this out and we're going to set that to the side because we're going to use that later. Now, I like to use green. It's my recommendation because it's not as powerful as the blue. You can use blue to thicken your color, but you need to use like a quarter of a drop, which is very tough to get a small amount because blue is going to overpower it and make it purple. Green, I find, doesn't overpower it, and it's something you can correct with yellow if you go a little too far. It's going to make it a little brownish if you try to correct it, but you can pop in some red, pop in some yellow, you can bring it back to life. Once it goes purple, it's going to stay purple. So I recommend using green. And this kit is enough to change up to a half a gallon. You're going to have more in this kit than you're going to need for right now, so this kit's going to last you because you don't need a lot to change the color and you don't need a lot of powder to thicken it. A quick note on color changes. The reason we're making a kit is because something as simple as lights can change the color. So if you look and you see that our bright red example up here now looks a little dark. That might be the nature of your circumstances. Maybe your lighting design, or maybe if you're shooting outdoors on camera, or whatever your settings are on the camera is just making the blood look a little darker and you want it to look a little brighter. Well, you can add the red and you can brighten it up a little bit if needed. If you can't adjust your lights, or if you have your lights that need to be super bright, and you say, well, this is super bright on the lights, I need to look a little darker, that's what we're going to do right here. We're going to use the green to make it look a little darker. So that's just a quick note on lighting. We can do a whole nother video on lighting and how it changes the color of your blood. But this kit is here to address that, to address changing the color on fabrics and lights, outdoor, indoor, etc. So now we're going from bright red to a little bit darker. Using the green. This is 2 tablespoons. I recommend 2 tablespoons for almost any effect on stage. That's just as a start. If you want more, great. You get a bigger effect, more spectacle. But if the story needs to move on, you see the blood, keep moving, 2 tablespoons is gonna be it. And for 2 tablespoons, all I need is this one bitty drop, not even a big drop, just trying to get this one little drop to squeeze out of here. Shake down, that's it. That's going to be enough to take 2 tablespoons into a much darker color. Then you mix thoroughly. What I mean by mix thoroughly is that as you stir it, the dye originally doesn't want to go and play with the syrup base. It's going to try to go to the side of whatever you're mixing into. It's going to float on the top. So you really got to mix, 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 mix. If you mix thoroughly, it will still wash out of fabrics. It will still wash off of skin. If you do not mix thoroughly, the dye is going to hang out on the top, and it's going to go find its way into your fabrics and just make your day a little harder. So here's a little bit darker. Here's the trail underneath to show just what one little bit of green did to darken up your color. That's 1 drop. 1 drop is not going to stain anything. It's not going to get on your skin. It's not going to get anywhere. That's all you need is 1 drop to turn the bright red into the dark red. So now, as our magic show continues, 1 drop down, bright red to the dark red. Magic show continues. Now I'm taking out the xanthan gum. Xanthan. Keep saying it's Xanthan, but is enormously difficult to pronounce. So this is a teaspoon. I'm going to take a part of a teaspoon. I should have taken like a third of a teaspoon, but I'm going to take a little part of this xanthan gum, a natural thickener. It's in a lot of food products, so it still remains edible and non-toxic. No known allergens to it. And then again, mix it thoroughly. What I like about this, as compared to other thickeners, is it's not going to fight you and lighten the color up too much. If you use other thickeners, the whiteness of the powder is going to fight against your color, and the light's going to rebound off of that whiteness, and it's going to make your color brighter than what you intended. And sometimes it'll even make it neon, so you don't want neon. Nobody bleeds neon. So now you get the syrup, gets a little bit thicker, right? And the main consistency you're gonna see the thickness is when you put it on skin. It's just gonna run a little bit less. It's gonna stick much like the jam does, right? So now, again, we went from bright red, add 1 drop of green, got dark red, added about a teaspoon of the xanthan gum to get our thicker stuff that stays put, that doesn't really drip as much as the syrup would run and drip on its own. And if you want it to be thicker, you just add more. So that is a very quick, very brief rundown of how to use your kit if you have bought it to customize your blood. Pretty simple. Every kit's gonna come with a yellow, red, blue, and green, and a 2 tablespoon baggie of xanthan gum. If you have any questions, please send us an email at info@gravityandmomentum.org or give us a call, and we will be happy to help you get the most out of these products.